Have you ever woken up with a pit in your stomach before your eyes even open? Maybe you hit snooze 5 times because facing another identical day feels impossible. Maybe you're making decent money, your parents are proud, but you feel like you're slowly disappearing. Or maybe you look at your calendar and feel nothing. No excitement, no purpose, just obligation. If that's you, if you've been told you should be grateful for what you have, then this story is for you. Because once there was a 25-year-old man named Carter who woke up miserable in a job everyone envied. And 3 years later, he was running a business that made him jump out of bed at 5 a.m., not because he had to, but because he couldn't wait to start. Not despite his failure, but because of what he learned in 5 minutes at a coffee shop. Stay with me until the end. This might change how you see your future. Carter had entered the glass office tower in downtown Austin with dreams that looked perfect on paper. At 25, he was a marketing analyst at one of the most prestigious tech companies in Texas, pulling in $72,000 a year. His LinkedIn profile was immaculate. His parents bragged about him to relatives at every family gathering. College friends were jealous. They'd all applied to this company, and Carter was the one who got in. But every morning, the alarm at 6:30 a.m. felt like a sentencing. He'd commute downtown scrolling through other people's creative work, feeling something twist in his chest. The meetings were endless, optimizing ad spend for products he didn't care about, analyzing metrics that meant nothing to him. He was good at it. That was the problem. He was succeeding at something that was slowly killing him inside. At night, after everyone else had logged off, Carter would sit in his apartment and do the thing that actually made him feel alive. He recorded educational videos about personal finance, budget strategies, debt payoff methods, money mindset shifts. He had 47 subscribers. He'd edit until 2 a.m., exhausted, but somehow more awake than he'd been all day in that glass tower. "This is what I studied for," he'd tell himself, staring at his marketing degree on the wall. "This is stable. Why do I feel like I'm wasting my life?" He kept the YouTube channel hidden from his co-workers like a secret. 4 months later, his manager noticed. The reports were getting sloppy. Carter was missing deadlines. He used to stay late voluntarily. Now he left at 5:01 p.m. sharp, practically running to his car. "Carter, you were our top performer last quarter. What's going on?" his manager asked, concerned. "Just busy. I'll get back on track." But he didn't. His YouTube channel was growing. 47 subscribers became 312 in those 4 months. He spent lunch breaks scripting videos in his car. His sleep dropped to 5 hours a night. The contrast haunted him. One video reached 1,200 people. In 18 months of corporate work, he'd never impacted that many lives. His manager pulled him into a glass conference room where everyone could see through the walls. "Listen, I hired you because you were hungry. Lately, you seem checked out. Corporate's watching our team. I need the old Carter back." Carter nodded, promised improvement, felt nothing. The next week, he was removed from the high-visibility client project and reassigned to support a younger analyst named Melissa. The VP asked in front of the whole team, "Carter, you okay with supporting Melissa on this instead of leading?" The humiliation burned. He started calling in sick to film videos. 3 months later, he sat in a performance review with his manager and someone from HR. "Carter, we're putting you on a 60-day performance improvement plan. Frankly, if we don't see dramatic change, we'll have to let you go." Walking out of that office, carrying the folder past the open floor plan, 40 co-workers watched. The guy who had it made was failing publicly. Shame turned his face red. That night, stress, migraine pounding, he stared at the performance improvement plan document. He opened his laptop and saw a new YouTube comment. "This video literally changed how I see money. Thank you." At 3 a.m., he wrote the resignation email. He couldn't do 60 more days of misery. His hand shook over the mouse. He clicked send. Immediate regret and relief collided in his chest. He called his parents that morning. "You quit. Carter, you had benefits. What are you going to do?" His mum's voice cracked. His dad was silent on speakerphone for a long moment. "We'll support you, but this seems impulsive. That was a real job." Carter sat in his apartment that night, still had the lease, but the walls felt like a prison of his own making. He looked at his framed college degree. 4.0 GPA in marketing. For what? He scrolled LinkedIn and saw everyone else getting promotions. A former classmate just made senior analyst. The voice in his head sounded like his manager. "You're throwing away stability. For 300 YouTube subscribers?" The next 3 weeks were brutal. He sent out 52 job applications. The rejections were identical. "We've decided to move forward with other candidates." He got 2 interviews. Both asked about the employment gap. "So you resigned without another offer?" "I was building something on the side and we'll be in touch." They never were. His savings account became a countdown timer. 8,400, then 6,100, then 4,200. Rent was due in 12 days. His YouTube channel made $37 last month from AdSense. At his cousin's engagement party, everyone asked what he was doing. "I'm building an online education thing." Confused looks. His uncle laughed. "So you're unemployed?" Carter left early. The channel wasn't growing anymore either. He posted twice weekly. Some videos got 80 views, others 900. No consistency. Subscriber growth stalled at 389. Comments dried up. At 2 a.m., staring at his bank account, calculator open, he did the math. 6 weeks of runway left. He started drafting an apology email to his old manager. "I made a mistake. Is there any chance?" His cursor hovered over send. He couldn't click it, but he also couldn't breathe thinking about going back to that glass tower, trapped between 2 failures. Then the email came. Subject line, "You saved my marriage." A viewer named Rachel, 34, had written 8 paragraphs about how his budgeting video had stopped the money fights between her and her husband. It ended, "Please don't stop making these." Carter couldn't sleep. He Googled successful people who quit corporate jobs and found a list. Issa Rae, David Dobrik, Ali Abdaal, Sarah Blakely, Chris Guillebeau, Pat Flynn, Hassan Minhaj. All of them had left safety for uncertainty. And all of them had something he didn't. Mentors, communities. He'd been doing this completely isolated. He remembered a guy from the co-working space he'd used twice before quitting. Laptop sticker, 6-figure creator. Name was Miguel. Ran some kind of newsletter and consulting business. Carter found his email and wrote, "You don't know me, but I've seen you at CreateSpace. I'm building something and totally lost. Can I buy you coffee for 15 minutes of advice? I promise not to waste your time." The reply came 4 hours later. "Coffee's on me. Tuesday, 9 a.m. Flitch Coffee. Bring questions." Flitch Coffee was a small place in East Austin. Carter arrived 15 minutes early, rehearsed questions on his phone, hands shaking slightly. Miguel walked in at exactly 9 a.m., late 30s, salt and pepper beard, wearing a hoodie, carrying a worn moleskin notebook. He had this calm energy, like someone who'd figured something out. "So, what's the real problem?" Miguel asked, sitting down. Carter spilled everything. Quit his job. Channel stuck, running out of money, felt like an idiot. Miguel listened, nodded, then pulled out his weathered wallet. He laid 2 business cards side by side on the table. The first one was old, embossed logo. Miguel Torres, Marketing Director, Tech Corp. The second was simple, just text, "Miguel Torres, I help people build freedom." Just an email address. "One of these made me $90,000 a year and I wanted to quit life. One makes me $240,000 and I work 25 hours a week. Guess which is which? Carter stared. But how? I can't even get 500 subscribers to stay. Miguel grabbed a napkin and drew 3 overlapping circles. He labelled them impact, income, identity. You're chasing subscribers like you chase promotions. Different scoreboard, same trap. He tapped the first circle. Impact. Who are you actually helping? Not views, changed lives. That email from Rachel? That's your North Star. You changed her marriage with one video. Find 100 Rachels. Talk to them. Learn their exact problems. He tapped the second circle. Income. What will people pay you to solve? Not ads. AdSense is a side effect, not a strategy. What course, template or coaching could you sell to Rachel for $50? $200. Solve the problem completely. He tapped the third. Identity. Who are you becoming through this? Not YouTuber, builder, teacher, guide. Stop calling yourself someone trying YouTube. You're a financial educator building a business. Act like it. Miguel leaned back. You're not a corporate failure. You're not a struggling YouTuber. You're an educator who just hasn't found his students yet. Those are 3 very different stories. This week, Miguel said, email every person who's ever commented. Ask one question. What's your biggest money struggle right now? Don't sell anything. Just listen. Carter left with the napkin folded in his pocket. For the first time in 9 months, something felt like a path instead of a cliff. That afternoon, he emailed 23 people who'd commented on his videos. 11 replied. Patterns emerged. Debt payoff confusion, budget shame, partner communication breakdowns. Carter stopped chasing viral content. He created a Money Foundations 4 video series directly addressing those 3 problems. The titles changed from clickbait to clear solutions. The series got 200 to 600 views each, not huge numbers. But the comment rate tripled. 12 people asked, do you do one-on-one coaching? Carter had no coaching experience. Handshaking, he created a $97 Money Reset 3-session package and posted it in his community tab. 5 people bought in 8 days, $485. His first coaching call was a disaster. Ran 90 minutes. He over-delivered on everything. But the client Sarah texted him after, I've paid $2,000 for financial advisors who didn't help this much. Thank you. He watched 47 YouTube videos on coaching frameworks. Michael Bungay-Stanier, Marie Forleo, others. Built a Notion template for client tracking. Filmed videos in his living room at 6 a.m. before coaching calls to use the natural light. 70-hour weeks. Exhausted, yes, but not miserable. Alive. Month 1, $485. Month 2, $240 from 8 clients plus AdSense. Month 3, $2,090 from 12 clients and his first $297 mini-course sale. Client testimonials started stacking up. He posted them with permission. New clients found him through those, not his subscriber count. 5 months in, drowning in video editing work, he hired a college student, another escaped finance major, who edited for $15 an hour. First time Carter had ever hired anyone. It felt real, like an entrepreneur, not a hobbyist. He ran into a former co-worker at Whole Foods. Dude, heard you quit. You doing okay? Carter, exhausted in a hoodie, laptop bag over his shoulder. Yeah, actually, building something. The co-worker's smile looked forced. Cool, cool. We just got new PTO policy. 4 weeks now. Carter was genuinely happy for him. But he realized in that moment he'd never go back. Then the threat appeared. A new YouTube channel launched, Money MBA, run by a Stanford MBA grad. Venture-funded, professional studio. They posted daily, 0 to 5,000 subscribers in 3 weeks. Carter watched their videos, polished graphics, expensive production. Guests were CFOs and finance executives. His old imposter syndrome flooded back. How am I supposed to compete with that? Maybe I do need credentials. Maybe authenticity isn't enough. He found Miguel's napkin in his desk drawer. Impact, income, identity. He texted Miguel, "Someone with an MBA and funding just entered my space. I'm screwed, right?" Miguel replied, "Do they have 11 paying clients who trust them? Do they know Rachel's marriage story? Play your game." Carter posted a normal video, budget mistakes he'd made personally. The comments section exploded. "Thank God someone real. That Money MBA guy feels like a commercial. I've learned more from your messy, authentic stuff than any polished guru. Please don't change your style." Money MBA got the subscribers, but their engagement was dead. Carter's community was smaller, but 10 times more active. 9 months later, Money MBA pivoted to corporate training, which was probably their real goal all along. Carter realized they weren't competitors, different missions entirely. His weakness, no credentials, no funding, was actually his strength, relatable, accessible, real. 2 years later, Carter walked past his old office building in downtown Austin. He was 27 now, on his way to meet a potential podcast sponsor nearby. He hadn't been inside that building since he quit. He looked up at the 14th floor where his desk used to be. He felt nothing. No regret. Just distance. His business, Carter Cole Financial Education, was doing $38,000 a month from coaching, courses and small sponsorships. He had a team, 2 part-time editors, 1 virtual assistant, 1 contract web designer. His YouTube channel had 8,400 subscribers, small by influencer standards. But he'd helped 340 paying clients and students. A local business journal had featured him. Austin Educator helps millennials escape debt. He woke up at 5:45 a.m. now, without an alarm, actually excited to review client wins, plan content, record. He texted Miguel, "Coffee on me this time." They met at the same Flitch Coffee. Carter showed him the business dashboard on his laptop. "That napkin's framed in my office," Carter said. Miguel smiled. "You did this. I just asked the right question." "No," Carter said. "You showed me the difference between succeeding at the wrong thing and building the right thing. That's everything." Miguel leaned back. "So, you still miserable when you wake up?" Carter laughed. "Dude, I forget what that even felt like." My friend, Carter's story is not about whether you should quit your job or stay corporate. It's about waking up and actually wanting to be awake. Here's what Carter's 5-minute coffee conversation taught him, and what it can teach you. First, success without fulfillment is just expensive misery. The traditional path says climb the ladder, hit the benchmarks, and happiness will follow. But you can have the title, the salary, the LinkedIn endorsements, and still feel empty. Carter had all the wins, $72,000 salary, prestigious company, proud parents, and woke up miserable for 18 months straight. So ask yourself, what are you succeeding at that's slowly killing you? What would you do if your bank account stayed the same, but you could change everything else? Second, real impact beats impressions every single time. The traditional path says, get big first. Subscribers, followers, customers, then monetize later. But the alternative truth is this: 11 people paying you $100 beats 10,000 followers who just scroll past. Carter's 389 subscribers made more actual impact than Money MBA's 5,000, because he listened to their real problems. So ask yourself, who have you actually helped this week? Not impressed. Helped. Can you name them? Can you call them? Third, your identity shapes your actions, not the other way around. The traditional path says do the work, build the resume, become someone eventually. But the moment Carter started calling himself an educator building a business instead of a guy trying YouTube, Everything shifted. His decisions changed. His confidence changed. The world responds to who you say you are. So ask yourself, how do you introduce yourself at parties? Is that who you want to be, or who you think you should be? What if you introduced yourself as who you're becoming? Carter's misery wasn't about his job. It was about building someone else's dream with his one life. The 5 minutes with Miguel didn't give him answers. It gave him permission to ask different questions. What real impact am I creating today? What real income can I build from solving real problems? What real identity am I stepping into? You are not broken for wanting more than a paycheck. You are not ungrateful for feeling empty in a good job. You are not behind because you're building something that doesn't fit a LinkedIn template. You are someone who knows the difference between impressive and meaningful. You are capable of building something that makes you forget to hit snooze. You are allowed to redefine success on your own terms. Stop comparing your Chapter 3 to someone else's Chapter 30. Stop waiting for permission from people who've never built what you're building. Stop believing there's only one definition of success. If this story reminded you that your misery is data, share it with someone who's waking up miserable in a successful life. Someone who's doubting their path. Someone who's been told they should be grateful when they feel like they're disappearing. I'll be back with another story to help you grow. Until then, remember, your path is valid. Your misery is data. And 5 minutes of truth can change the next 5 years. Now go build something worth waking up for.